So I was asked to make a video on how does a general contractor find people to do work at his own house or his company. And there's about 5 things I look for. The first thing is insurance. Do they have general liability and do they have workers' comp? Now, I'm not too worried about general liability. I like to see it, I want to see it, and honestly, they have to have it if they're going to work for me. But general liability is just like it sounds, it's a general blanket. The one you want to be looking for is workers' comp. Now, not everybody can get this. It takes a little bit more to get this. You got to have your ducks in a row and all your paperwork sorted out and be a legit company. Now, with workers' comp, we're in Texas, so it's Texas workers' comp for us. With Texas workers' comp, you need that to protect yourself as a client, to protect yourself as a business owner as well. Because if you have a worker that hurts himself, they can come back and try to take you for everything that you have. And a lot of people will say, oh, I don't need it. I'm just a one-man show. Or, oh, you know, those are for the big players. I'm not in that category. Well, I called my broker and I said, hey, can you please explain this to me? Because I get so many subs saying, no, you don't have to have it. And then people saying, yes, you do. So this is how she explained it to me. 1, if you are the sole proprietor and the only worker at your company, you do not have to have it. But if at any time I hire, say, a young kid from church, you know, a young boy from church to help me sweep floors, or I need somebody to help me offload trash or plywood out of the back of my truck, guess what? You got to have workers' comp. And I know a lot of contractors out there that have 4, 5, 6 people working for them and they do not have workers' comp. And they'll tell you all day long, we don't have to have it. But legally, yes, you're supposed to have it. And if someone gets hurt, man, that's a pickle I don't want to deal with. So the bridge is rickety. I'm not going to take a chance. I'm not going to cross it. If you're going to work for me, you need to have those 2 insurances. The other thing is talk to them about their warranty. Warranty is very important. Now, in the state of Texas, it's mandatory that I give you a 1-year warranty. That's the law. So if you call up a contractor and you say, hey, what kind of warranty do you provide? And they go, oh, well, we'll give you a 1-year warranty. Whoop-de-doo, you know? But what you're really wanting to listen for is what comes next. I know if you call me and you say, hey, Andrew, what kind of warranty do y'all have? I'm going to tell you, well, we have a 1-year warranty. But if something happens past that, we'll take care of it. We'll look into it. Because here's the deal. We take pride in our job. We take pride in our work. And if we get into it and it falls apart, then that's not because we took pride in our work. We were trying to get out of there and get on to the next job quick and in a hurry. And that's not right. That's not right for me. That's not right for you as a client. Because you are putting your hard-earned dollar into trusting us that we're going to do a job correctly. And I had a client 3 years later come to me and say, hey, we're having some issues. I looked into it. I took care of it for them, and problem solved. I was happy. The client was happy. Everybody was happy. And I'll be the first to tell you if I screwed up or one of my guys screwed up on a job. So, you know, those are some traits that you need to look for in a contractor is, you know, are they willing to say and confess up to their mistakes? Yeah, you know, I screwed up and I'm going to fix that for you. And are they, you know, kind of have an open-ended, not contract, but an open-ended policy on coming out, taking a look at what's going on. Because there are some things that just wear and tear. I bought a new watch band not too long ago. I wore it a couple of days and it broke. Is it their fault? Maybe it's the way they made it, but it's probably the way that I'm so rough on things. I can't take it out on the company if I'm out there banging on it with a hammer. So you have to be fair. You have to be fair to the client. You have to be fair to the GC. The other thing you want to look for is, do they have any referrals? Can people say, if you call them up and you say, hey, can I go look at your work? Don't be afraid to ask that question. Can I look at your work? Do you have pictures of it? I have a professional photographer come in. She takes pictures of all of my jobs. And then what she'll do is we'll post them on my website or post them on Facebook so that people can see the kind of work that my people perform. And I'm going to say it's my people because these are my contractors that I'm hiring to represent me. I'm not out there installing the plumbing. I'm not out there doing the painting. If I have to, I'm there. I'm doing it. I'm going to get dirty in those trenches, and we're going to come back to that. But it's 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be me. It's going to be the contractor. So it's really important, and don't be afraid to ask. If they say, oh, well, I don't have any pictures, or no, I can't show you any of my work, well, then ask, okay, who's your subs? And a lot of GCs will say, oh, no, I don't want to give you my subs. Well, that's because they're ashamed of them, or they're so good and so few in between that they don't want to lose them. And that's where you got to use your judgment and just kind of, weed through that. I'm straight up with people. I'll tell people, man, I use Aberley Plumbing, I use Cortima, and I have no problem with that. You go onto Google, get on the interweb, use that thing that Gore invented, get on there and look, just Google in, Aberley Plumbing and see what people have to say about Aberley Plumbing. Because if the GC could have great people, he could have great reviews, but the people that he's using could be really crappy. So you really want to look at who is he using. Is it in-house people or is he subbing this out? And that's something that you need to ask, and you don't need to feel ashamed of it or feel like you're nosying down into too much stuff. Get in there, root around, because it's your hard-earned money that you're spending. The other thing is, how do they dress when they present themselves? When they show up on your job, or when they show up at your house to give you a quote, how do they dress? I get these polos made, I get the company logo put on. I wear a pair of chinos and maybe some ostrich skin boots, and we're good to go. We can get out there, we can bid, I feel confident to talk to people. But then you got the other guy that shows up wearing flip-flops and shorts. Do you really want to hire this guy? And I get it, it's hot. We're in Houston. It gets up 110, and it's humid. I get it, but that's not very professional. They say dress for success, and it's kind of dorky and corny, but it's true. If you want good people working for you and you want good work done to your project, make sure that they can present themselves. The other thing is, and it's a trick that I do, it's a pro tip, look at their tires on their truck and look at their tail beds. If their tires are bald and cracked and they need new tires, then I know they're not taking care of their trucks. If their tail bed is full of tools and just whatever, trash, Coke cans, what makes you think that they're going to be able to take care of a project for you that's $100,000, $200,000, or even $1 million? If they can't take care of something as simple as their truck. Now, I'm guilty of it. I'll throw tools in the back of my truck sometimes because I'm tired on a job, or I'll throw a water bottle in the back of my truck. But then a couple of days later, I always make sure to climb back there and clean that truck bed out. If you were to look at my truck bed right now, I got a folding chair, I got a box and a can of spray paint. And I think an old fishing lure that I haven't gotten. Where is it? Right there. It's an old fishing lure that I haven't gotten out of the truck because I'm too big to climb underneath there. I got to get my wife to do it, or I got to get a shovel. So those are things that you want to look for. How do they take care of their tools? How do they take care of their trucks? How do they present themselves? I recently was on a job where the owner of a company was out there doing some work. And me and my guys were laughing. Hopefully they didn't see us. This guy was wearing a pair of flip-flops, a pair of shorts, and a t-shirt. And he had his field supervisor wearing tennis shoes, a pair of shorts, and a pair of t-shirt. And they were cleaning up. It wasn't a hot day. It wasn't 110 degrees. It was a nice, cool day. They were out there pressure washing. and I'm watching the owner of the company pressure wash wearing flip-flops. Dude, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see you pressure wash off your toenail and have it land on my truck. I don't want that. I don't need that. Okay? And how does that look? If the owner was to show up, how does that look? I mean, it just blows my mind. And then later on, talking with his customer, I find out that they're having some issues, and they were newbie mistakes. I mean, they were things that I learned about 4-6 months into this trade. And it's like, how can you own your own company and be making some of these mistakes? And I get it. I make mistakes sometimes, and I make newbie mistakes sometimes. We do that sometimes. But this was like a lot. I mean, within 5 seconds of walking into his job site, I saw like 10 off the bat. And it was like, whoa, just mind-blowing. So again, you see there's a similarity between how they presented themselves to maybe the kind of work they're doing. I don't know. I'm just saying this is how I saw it. The other thing is do they know their numbers? And you may not know your numbers. You might need some, painting done on your house or some boards replaced. But that's really easy. Jump back up onto the internet, type in there, average price per square foot to paint the outside of a house. And put in the name of your town or your state. And you can get a ballpark. And it may not be dead on, but you can get a ballpark. And so when that person's talking to you, you still play stupid. Please always play stupid, because you never want them to let on that you know what's going on. But ask those questions, and then when they're looking at your house, and if they're throwing out some numbers, you can go, okay, I can see, if it's 54 cents a square foot to paint something, and they're saying, oh, it's going to be 57 cents a square foot. Okay, we're playing in the same ball field. But if they're sitting there going, oh man, it's going to be $1 per square foot or something, you can go, something's up here. What are you doing? So what I always recommend, I don't always go off of the 3 estimate rule. It's a waste of my time. Okay, I've been doing this long enough. I know where those numbers need to be. I know in what ballpark we're playing. Now, if there's something that I'm not sure of, like recently, I got called out to a job that I have actually never done before. And so the first thing I did was I started calling around and asking questions. Called the city of Houston. I called a couple of plumber friends of mine. And then I said, okay, guys, I need pricing. Now, I called and I got 2 prices. And those 2 prices were like a $50 difference. Why would I go out and get a third price? But if I got a price from plumber A of $1,000, and then I got a price from plumber B of $2,000, then that's where I want to get that third price, because then I can say, okay, did one come in too low and one come in too high, or did one forget something? And then that will level out the playing field. So know your numbers. If you ask any Fortune 500 company, he's always going to say, know your numbers. If you read the new book from Tillman, multiple times throughout, know your numbers, know your numbers. And it's important that you get a grasp and you understand them. And if you don't, ask the GC to explain it. Don't feel bad, don't feel stupid, okay? Ask him to explain where's this money going. The other thing is don't feel bad to ask for it to be broken out. Now, I hate when a customer asks me, hey, can you give me a broken out proposal? And the next question is, after I roll my eyes, is how much do you want it broken down? Do you just want to see material and labor? Like, where do you want that to see? What do you want to see? And I have one client that says, and I know this automatically, he's going to want to see labor, material, my profit, and in taxes. And he has a good grasp on that. He knows his numbers. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of contractors will tell you, no, don't do that. You're digging yourself into a hole. But you know what? If you are being honest, you are being straightforward, if you're trying to make a good, honest living, and not rip anybody off, then the contractor would be willing to do that. Now, granted, it is a pain in the butt because it's more work that we don't want to do. So make sure you give that contractor a little extra time to throw that together, because it is a pain in the butt. But you need to know where every penny of your dollar goes. And that's one way of doing it, because I have seen contractors literally just throw numbers in there. They'll get the complete bid written up, and then I've seen them throw an extra $15,000 into a bid, like on a house remodel, just because they want a new motor for their boat, and it's going to cost $15,000. And they'll work it into all the little numbers, and they get, you know, and you can still cheat the system even if you have it broken out. But come on, guys, who wants to do that? These are the people that give in construction a bad name for itself, and that's what we're trying to get away from. You got to bring respect back to these trades. You know, the pride and respect that these trades have, these guys work for. We gotta get away from that stuff. So, as a person that's looking for a contractor, you want to make sure that the person you're hiring's up and up, and then by doing that, they'll make sure that their people are on the up and up, and it will get rid of this vicious cycle that everybody's in. It's better for you as a client. It's better for me as a other contractor in the field, as a competitor, because it keeps everybody honest. So those are the things that I look for. I'm sure I missed one or two. If there's something that you look for, you know, leave it in a link below. I'd love to hear it. And like I said, these are just things that I look for. But yeah, I'd love to hear it. Leave it. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Other than that, guys, I will see you next time.